Cam. So awesome. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see me?
Yes.
Yes. Yes and
Yes.
yes.
What's a live stream without a few technical difficulties? It feels like it's not a actual live if there's not at least a
Yeah.
few of those,
Doesn't exist.
Yeah, yeah. I'm seeing
So
people in the
true.
audience. Look at that. I love these usernames. Sunflower, Mama Kate, uh,
Hot pink
Rowan, Dave.
bamboo.
Oh yes, hot pink. Okay, hot pink bamboo. You win for best username.
ON8. Oh, ON8. I love that one too. I know I got to get more creative, but welcome everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today, John. I'm sure most of the people here know who you are, and I hope they've listened to the In the Making episode with you
Yeah.
going viral with John Youshaei. Thank you for joining us today. I'm so excited because I had more questions. I listened to our episode just this morning just to refresh myself. Like, what didn't I ask him? Because it's only 25 minutes and we can only squeeze in so much, right?
Totally, totally. And I know there's a lot of people in the audience who are trying to grow and become creators and build a business using all the creative tools that Adobe has to offer. So I'm excited to make this even more interactive.
Yeah. So I'm going to give the mic to you because this is your show. I'm just here to chit chat with you and facilitate. But why don't you share, since we last talked, any new things happening with you? Some new things. I want to talk about your newsletter. I'm loving it, and you could tell
Thank
the
you.
audience why it's so different. Because on the podcast you had said, "Well, we're launching a newsletter." So yeah,
Absolutely. And I thought I'd give a quick intro for those I haven't met yet. I see some folks who have been in the chat as well as from my Discord coming in. Yeah, I'm John. I've worked at YouTube and Instagram for the past 8 years, and I've just been on the inside of helping a lot of creators grow their business, their audience. And just a year ago or so, I was like, you know what? I should try doing this and see if I can build a business myself. And it's been just a crazy journey, and I'm excited to share like what I've learned. We've grown to about 500,000 followers across social platforms. We have a team of 10, and just have got 300 million views across a lot of formats. And for me, we're all about trying to educate and share what I couldn't talk about on the inside when I worked at YouTube and Instagram, to really share that blueprint with folks as I learn and iterate more. So I'm just excited to be here. And I saw some people submitted questions in advance. So I thought it'd be fun. If you guys have comments or questions, feel free to leave it in the chat. Like I just
yeah.
tell Aaron, like you just commented there. I see Monica, I see Cara. If you guys want to just leave comments there, we'll be going through it ourselves. But I thought I'd start with some of the folks who left comments in advance and left
Yeah.
questions in advance, if that works for you. And if you have any questions or you want to jump in here, you're such a good host during our podcast. Like feel free. This is I like the unpredictability of these lives. So
Yes.
yeah. Okay. Here we
So
go.
if you have a question, you're going to start off with, right?
Yes. 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 Exactly. And I put it all in this spreadsheet. So first, I want to give a shout out to Bronco Jet, who asked this question, and they said, okay. Hi everyone, I'm a shy guy and this is quoting his question, and I've always disliked cameras. Then again, I wonder if your face appearing on videos makes a difference on making how to videos more effective or not. Has anyone delved into testing whether you can see a change or decrease in engagement or complete view rate of your videos on YouTube? That I thought that
Ah,
was one of the most relatable questions because to be honest, like getting confident on camera is one of the first things, and there's a lot of faceless YouTube channels, content creators. So this is not something that you have to do, but I wanted to share two thoughts. One, it is easier, in my opinion, to build a brand and build a business if you are showing your face on camera. Think about all the opportunities that could come because of that. One, people want to follow you not just for your education expertise, but for your personality that they see come through when they see your face. Two, I think it's easier to transport audiences to other platforms. Like, hey, I know that guy. And three, I think it's an actual watermark. If you think about what a lot of people try to do, they try to put a logo in the corner. But if your face travels with the content, and let's say your content starts to get clipped, as that's just what happens when things get popular and your content gets a lot of views. It just gets clipped. if you don't travel with the content, it's hard to attribute it to you. So I think the first answer to that question is like, yes, it is easier to build a channel if you're putting your face on camera, which then gets us to the next part, which is okay, it is super overwhelming to put yourself on camera. And how do you get more confident and what dare I say even like charismatic on camera because it's so odd, you know? Like this is wonderful because we're all like chatting. I could feel the energy of you guys on screen, the room and all that, but like normally it's just me and like over there staring at a camera and a teleprompter. Um,
Yeah.
right. So how do you feel that like and get confident to talk to folks? I'd say here's something that I would do if you guys are at home. I would take a 1 minute recording of yourself on your phone, literally like just like this, just and talk about anything that you feel passionate about. You shouldn't think too much about what the topic is. Like, let's say you're a basketball fan, like talk about the Chicago Bulls and God, like how bad they've been recently as a Chicago Bulls fan. If you want to talk about upholstery, talk about upholstery. It doesn't matter. For a minute, just talk into the camera, look at the lens, and just continue doing that. Then, after the minute is over, take your phone and then put it down and don't look at the video. Just have the audio come out. And then critically think, how do I sound on camera? How's my intonation? Right? Forget about the physicality and the body language. Right now, we're just thinking about how you sound. Right? Then take notes on that minute, then turn your camera up. Again, I guess you see from my, I don't, you're then playing the video of yourself talking about whatever that topic is for a minute. But here's the thing you do differently now. You turn the volume all the way down. You're not listening to yourself at this point. You're watching your body language. And then you're like, wait, I look deadpan, or like, why am I not like expressing myself? You like by taking one sense out and focusing on the other, you start to understand. Um, then the other thing you should do is then forget the video altogether. Take the transcription, which you could do on a variety of different tools. Take the literal text that you're saying and put it into a doc, and just look at what you said in terms of the words. How coherent, how direct are you being with the words that you're using on camera, right? And then the fourth thing is show it to a friend, right? Show it to your spouse, show it to your partner, whoever it is. So if you do those four things, and again, you could do this right after this call, right? We don't need to talk about like rocket science or like going to Mars or those topics. Just talk about something you're passionate about because that's step one. You can't like we don't want you to like sometimes grapple with a topic that you're comfortable with. We want to see all these four elements at play. I guarantee you'll start making progress.
Oh my God. I'm just like, that is amazing. 10 minutes in, the first tip you give is
Like good or
it's so great. It's not good because, I do a podcast, so the sound part really resonated with me because it's
yeah,
only audio. I have to sound like I'm speaking to someone and not reading a script, right?
right,
That is so important. And then I love the fact that you're saying turn the volume down and just look at your
yeah,
facial expressions. Are you telling a story? Are you feeling those words? And then what really got me is the transcript. We do that too for the podcast, but man, that really resonated with me.
yeah. And I got to give credit where it's due. I'm trying to remember this gentleman's name. He's an amazing public speaker, and he gives similar tips along those lines. But again, like people like thinking about like how do you get you have a relationship with the camera just as you do like somebody. And sometimes another tip, just adding a little bonus to it. Uh, Print out a picture of a loved one or a student or a peer and just put them by your camera and just imagine like, okay, if I was having coffee with this person, how would I explain things? And I think all those weird like people talk too loud or like that like they're like in presenter mode, like relax. Like, we're just chatting. So yeah.
Yeah, that is the tip of the trade because I do that when I do my outros and intros and I'm alone. I actually have a picture of somebody I'm talking to and telling that.
Love it.
That's
Love it.
amazing. So I know you have a bunch more questions, but there is one from Kara Chan right here on the chat.
Do it. Do it.
Kara says that she's rebranding her series, a Cosmic Funnies. It's to make astronomy more fun, made fun in the form of web comics and animations. She says, what can I do to increase views on Instagram? And she started using Adobe Express to make animations, and she hopes to make 5-minute animations. Of course, I'll be showing my face, she said.
Yeah. Let's make this even more interactive. Eric, do you want to drop in your Instagram handle and I'll take a look at it live?
I just want to
Ooh.
chime in too as someone who's seen Kara's work. She has a really distinct visual style. So when you were talking about that watermark, I think it's very recognizable and cool.
Wow. I love this jumping in real life look at, see. Oh, and others know Kara's work as well. I see. So John, it's there. It's at Cosmic Funnies series. You know, series. Oh, I see. There's a lot of colors. It's the big eyes for the planets and the sun. Amazing. How many of you have, I guess, known Kara? How do you know Kara, Erin? Oh, see, John's checking it out.
She's in both the Firefly and the Express servers, which I spend a lot of time in, and it's really interesting to me because sometimes she also shares her schoolwork. And what I always think is really cool is that her style really comes across regardless of what she's working on. So it always, to me, is very clear that it's her work, which I think is so cool.
Yeah, yeah. John's doing some study. I know there was another question that we may be able to get later. What if it's not my brand? I Where did I see that? It was like, what if it's for somebody else, like a client work? Oh, I see Chrysanthi has joined. Hello, Chrysanthi. She's one of
John,
the
I think
producers of the podcast.
I think you may be
Oh, you're
muted
muted.
again.
I thought he was just deep in thought,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, checking out. For those of you who just joined, we are answering one of Kara's question, and John is taking a look at um, her work on social media
I think
right
he's
now.
also fixing his audio now. But if you are just joining us now and you don't know this, I'll give my spiel. Chat is on the upper right. Click on the chat icon to expand it. John is answering some questions that he got in advance and some that are coming in live. So go ahead and put questions and interactions in there. As John said when we started this, is it really alive if there isn't something to fix during it?
Not yet. Not.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not sure why the mic going in and out. Okay. All right. So, Cosmic Funny Series. All right. I was looking at your account and I also want to say thank you to who came. Oh yeah, Glow. Thank you. I just came in and already got mesmerized by this information. Good. That's the kind of start we want. Okay. All right. Very kind comment. All right. Okay. First things first. All right, let's talk about your profile. First, I like the unique style, like we talked about, is definitely there. So I feel like if I saw this in my feed, I'd be like, okay, I saw this before, and start to build brand recognition. But
Mm.
and I'm gonna keep it 100 here. I'm gonna be critical because we're all trying to improve, right? Your the way you have your bio on top, I'm gonna dive into is really um not optimized the way it could be. And the reason why I say that is because people forget the way search works on Instagram versus YouTube and Google, for example. So right now you have like Cosmic Funny Series as your username, and then you also have Cosmic Funny Series as your name, which is what most people do. But what most people don't realize is that this thing right here, let me just point this out. This, your username and your name
are one of the two things that that Instagram uses to index your profile in search. So if you were to put cosmic funny series and then you have more characters here left over, put a dash or put a parentheses like cartoon series, or if you had to describe, like I'm trying to like astronomy cartoon series, then that name is, which also indexes for search, would start to show up if people start to look up cartoon series or astronomy cartoons, right? Right now, the only way that people are going to be finding the account, we're just talking about search right now, or the
Mm-hmm.
predominant way is if people look up cosmic funny series, which is a mouthful, right? And over time, people will become familiar with it. But we're talking about in the early days where people are still learning about what this is, or people are looking for, cartoon series or comics or, science cartoons, like just derivations of it. Like back when I was starting my Instagram account, to give you an example, my username was at Youshaei, which was just my last name. My name on the bottom was John Youshaei. So then people can look up John Youshaei dash um like ex Instagram and YouTube employee. So that way, if like people, or and I think at one point I had Instagram like expert or YouTube expert. So that way, if people were looking up those other keywords other than my name, I would have a higher chance of showing up, right? So thinking about like how you're playing with Instagram search, which is definitely more of a work in progress than YouTube's, which is more refined, is important for discovery. Okay. The next thing is I'm looking at, like, you're really diving into reels, which is good, but like the way let me just, like, right now you're here. Wait, hold on. Your text, and I see this a lot, is like completely cut off. Like I can't read the what you're trying to say as a story, and I've just gone through a few of them, not all of your cartoons. There's no voiceover, right? So you're putting a lot of work on the viewer to read and see and visualize. It's way too much, right? I would think about, like, I think it's important to study references, and anybody who's trying to do like animation or cartoon, I would look up this page called Ketnips. It has 3.6 million followers, and you could just take a look at like how, how simple, right? It's like, very simple cartoons. Like you can see what's going on.
Yeah. So cute.
Anyways, 3.6 million followers there. I would study their account
Oh,
and simplify um you just the wow, yeah, this is like way too much text. Like, remember, it's a visual platform, especially on Reels. Like, people aren't going to be like stopping to read that much. Um So that is like, yeah, yeah, look at this. Like, this is way too much going on here. Like, starry fact, like, so I see a lot of people trying to put text on a visual platform. And then the other thing I'd keep in mind is, and this is for anybody who doesn't want to show their face on camera, though we talked about,
hmm,
yeah, Vlad Air is asking the Instagram handle for reference. It's at Cosmic Bunnies Series. I hope I spelled that right. I probably added an extra N. But um, essentially, like, if you don't want to show your face, at least show the behind the scenes. Like, show us like on your Illustrator pad drawing. Show us like the making of like the cartoon. Like, people don't just want to see the output; they want to see the journey when it comes to art. I really believe that. You look at some of the biggest art pages; they have some sense of bringing you in behind the scenes, because it takes a lot of work to do what you do. And the last thing I'd say is, and then we should go to the next question. But you could DM me if I could be helpful beyond this. I see you have a lot of carousels like this one, right? Carousels, like, especially when you're starting out, are going to create a more uphill battle for your post to get engagement. Because think about the business of Instagram. How do they make money? They make money by you scrolling vertically and seeing ads, right? So if all of a sudden you're scrolling horizontally and you don't see ads in between the carousels because that doesn't exist, that piece of content has to be that much more engaging to keep people on Instagram if you're scrolling horizontally and not monetize, not like the platform isn't monetizing off of that, versus scrolling vertically and seeing like a photo or a short video from you that keeps them going in feed. So, um, anyways, 4 tips there. Hopefully that's helpful for you, Cosmic Funny Series, for you, Kara, as well as like other folks who are in the audience. But yeah, great question.
Such a great tip. And that's from one of the previously submitted questions that got us here. So do you want to, John, read another one from what you've gathered previously?
Sure. Okay.
And then we'll jump back to
Um,
the live chat.
totally. All right, let's actually go through some of them that may be like faster. Okay, we had a question come in from Let's Get It, which is, do you recommend putting timestamps or chapters on videos? Um, so this one I'll answer really quick. This, for folks who are not as familiar with like the context of this question, on YouTube, when you upload a video, let's say it's 10 minutes long, you could put timestamps on chapters on this. There's 2 schools of thought here. One is like show and give the audience like different chapters to navigate so they could skip around if they want to. The other one is don't give them anything so they don't know what's coming in the video, right? I am a big believer in the first one because your audience, like ultimately, like you don't want to keep them in a guessing game. You want to keep them like knowing what the content is coming up. If they're getting bored, that's fine. They should have every right to skip ahead and know what's coming, because if they don't, they'll probably click out. So I would definitely include timestamps. Can I do another quick one?
Yeah.
And then I just want to get to as many people as possible. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay, how do I script a strong hook for my videos? This comes from Niels. Okay. How do you script a strong hook for your videos? So I think like a strong hook for your video comes down to EAT, which is what's the end result, the E. Are you A, addressing the objection, and are you providing the time period people get it in? And I'll break down what EAT means, but just like as a shorthand, like remember to eat. That's how I think about the hook. So the E is what's the end result people will get from watching your video. So we could do it like this. Okay, let's say I'm making a video about how to grow on Instagram. In this video, you're going to learn how to get your first 10,000 followers on Instagram, right? That's the end result. That's the E. Okay. Now let me address the objection, because come on, like everyone has high BS detectors these days. What is somebody thinking when they hear about that end result, right? Um, I've heard this advice before, right? Or that doesn't work. Or yeah, I already have a lot of tips that I'm trying to now implement. Okay, so to go back to this hook, like what do I say to address the objection? So I could say, in today's video, we're going to cover how to get your first 10,000 followers. And no, it's not the advice that you're already thinking about. It's tips that I don't think people have heard when it comes to Instagram's algorithm changes last month,
Mhm.
right? So now I've addressed an objection that you may have before you've been able to like write off this video, right? Which shows a level of empathy that I think a lot of people don't have with their viewers. But if you have that, your hook is going to become next level. Okay. Then T. What's the T in EAT? The time period, right? So get to like case the 10,000 followers after 5 years. It's like, okay, um here's how I would refine it with the EAT. Um by the way, is my video frozen?
It is.
Yeah, one second. Let me turn off and on.
This is the beauty of life. You never know what's going to happen.
Yes, exactly.
Let's
And
see.
yeah, I'll once again remind everyone they can ask questions in the chat on the upper right hand corner. Just click on the chat icon to expand.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
John, you're
Gus.
back.
Appreciate the reminder.
Yeah, and can you guys hear me again?
Yes.
Perfect. Katrina says regular Discord hiccups. Amen. Yes. Uh, we were at the T, right? EAT
Hmm.
in the hook.
The time.
Glow. You never know what will happen next. That's right. Oh, amazing. This room looks like it's filling up. That's awesome.
Yeah, sometimes we have a
Yeah.
little delay on this. I know that we're scheduled for about 30 minutes on this, Teresa and John. If you have more time, I'm here too,
Yeah.
so we can hang out for
Yeah.
longer.
For sure. The camera looks like it's frozen again. I wonder if it's bandwidth with so many people joining. One second, let me turn off and
I'll
on.
turn mine off as
Sure.
well.
You're right, Aaron. All of a sudden, it just started filling in.
Yeah, it's
I'm so glad this is. Mhm.
it's
I'm so
something
glad
that
this is
happens
being-
in this server in particular. I really need to figure it out. But yeah, welcome everyone joining just now. We have John and Teresa here, and we are going through questions submitted in advance and also ones submitted in chat. So just a quick reminder, to make any of these videos bigger, just click on the icon you want to see, and then on the upper right hand corner there's a chat icon. Click on it, ask your questions in there. We're watching them. John will answer.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay. All right. Mike is back. Okay. Wow. And a lot of new folks are joining. So, and I see folks summarizing in the chat, which is awesome. So
Thank you.
ON8. Yeah. Thank you for that. So basically the question we're covering for all the new folks is, how do you make the hook in your videos as strong as possible? And like broader context for everyone joining. I used to work at Instagram and YouTube for the past 8 years, and now a creator myself. We've been growing rapidly, and we're doing this live to answer your questions. So feel free to leave it in the chat, and then folks have left it before, so I'm trying to go through as many as possible for you guys. So how do we get a better hook for your videos? It's like a quintessential question because so many of you guys try to make videos, but then we lose viewers in the beginning. Here's what you have to do: EAT. E is you talk about the end result. A is you address the objection. T is the time period that you get it. And I'm going to sum all this up and show you what this hook will look like. The time period, again, like should be somewhere like short term future. Again, people want short term gratification. You want to make sure you're giving the value in your video in the short term. So here's how I'd sum it up. And I'll kind of tell you each moment in this like 10-second intro if I was recording a video about like how to grow on Instagram. Okay, right? In this video, we're going to cover how to get your first 10,000 followers on Instagram. And no, it's not by using the tips and tricks that most people have talked about, because Instagram has changed a lot in the past year. And you're going to learn how to do this in the next 2 months. Let's get into the video. Right? So the E, you're going to learn how to grow on Instagram. The T, you're going to learn how to grow that 10,000 followers on Instagram within the next 2 months. And the A is addressing the objections like, no, this is new information. And if you guys want to see this hook in practice, let me actually show you this, like to show you I practice what I preach. I actually did a video about how to grow on YouTube, and you can see word for word, like verbatim, this is basically what I said. And that video now has 716,000 views. If folks
Amazing.
want to watch it, it's right here. Okay, here we go. Boom. There you go. YouTube employee exposes how to grow your YouTube channel. And if you watch the hook, like that first 15 seconds, like almost verbatim, it's similar. And there's a lot of other content on my channel in case it's helpful. But yeah, great question. Any follow-ups? I'm trying to. The chat was exploding during that
I know
time.
it's
I'm not
bloating, blowing up. So great, so great. There was one question that I caught from earlier when we were talking
Yeah.
about having not too many texts on Instagram because it's a visual platform. Someone asked, and I can't remember, sorry, how many characters should they have in mind when thinking about putting text on an Instagram post?
Well, I think so. There's two kind of like there's either subtitles that are like text that's being spoken, or like text of like text like the Cosmic Funnies Instagram page, where it's kind of like describing what's going on, but there's no voiceover. For the former, for subtitles, which I think is applicable for a lot of folks here, I think that like people go a bit overboard on subtitles. I like to put 3 words, 1 line. And if you look at the subtitles on my pages, it's always just like we won't even put, if it's a long word, like we basically have these safe zones that if anybody's interested, you could send me a DM or like add me on Discord, or like if you just reach out, my account name on Instagram is just at Youshaei. It's just my last name. We basically have safe zones of like how far your subtitles go, and not just because like we don't want to hit the buttons on Instagram reels, like with the heart, the comment, the paper airplane button, is because I think people get eye fatigue. And what I mean by that is like if you're asking somebody's like eye to like dart from like looking at your face and you speaking to like reading the text, and then there's another line of text and all that stuff. It just gets overwhelming subconsciously. Like nobody's ever going to look at a video and like, oh, I'm exhausted looking at that. But there's subconscious reasons why people skip, and that's one of them. And then for the latter point of like, what do you put in terms of text, like when it's like not for subtitles for voiceover, as little as possible. Again, like if people are scrolling and they're looking at a beautiful visual, an engaging video, and they see your photo with more than like 5, 6 words of text on it, it just gets to be too much. So try to put it in the text below, but know that very few people hit the see more button. So the most important part of your caption, now we're talking about like below, like not on the actual like visual, but below is the first 2 lines before the dot dot dot. So
Mhm.
anything you have to say is important to put there. But yeah, hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you mentioned safe zones. So did Haven Aco.
Yes,
Love the safe zones. Yeah.
yes.
And I don't know if everyone knows what that is.
Yeah, do you want me to explain? It's essentially
Really
like on
quickly.
your sure, sure, sure. It's essentially on your video. It's like what are the areas where if I were to put something in that video on the sides or on the top, it would either get cut off or it would overlap with the user interface, the UI of the platform. So in this case, it's like the buttons on the buttons on the side here, right? Like this stuff. I don't know if you can see,
Yep.
but anyway, the UI on the side of the screen. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Kara Chan, if you want to just send me a DM in my inbox. I'll just after this, I'll just go through my secondary inbox
Yeah.
on Instagram if I could be helpful. Yeah. How thank you. Yeah. Okay. Should we go through next question? Have we
Yeah.
got
Next
comments?
question.
Next
Yep.
question. Okay.
Yeah, let's do
Here we
it.
go. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to pick one that's like super relevant to the most amount of people here. Now that we have more folks. Okay, let's see. Ooh, okay. This one comes from MH. Okay, here we go. The question is: for those who have successfully converted viewers of shorts to long form content, are you doing anything specific? For context, I have a small channel, and while shorts might get 2,000 to 3,000 views, the longer content is stuck around 200 views. Thanks in advance for your insight. Okay. All right. So to summarize, I think this is a question that a lot of people feel, especially with like how popular short form content has become. Like, how do you take a short form audience and turn it into like a loyal long form listening community, right? Um, and this is something that we've done in the past year. Like we focused on like making short form content because you could put that on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Reels, Snapchat. Same video by and large with a few tweaks. And then now we've grown to having 2 million, 1.8 million, 2.7 million on our long form videos that have ranged from like 2 hours and 10 minutes to like 15 minutes, right? And the way that I like to think about doing that is most people nowadays, I think, clip long form content, which is good. There's a lot of ways to go about that, and a lot of tools that we could talk about. Like Opus Clip is like a tool that I use. You could just put in the like link for your YouTube video, and it gives you like a bunch of like different clips. That's one thing that helps with YouTube's new feature, which allows you to link to your short form to your long form. But I think the thing that a lot of people miss, and what I would recommend people doing, is think about segments in your long form that you could film as short form. And what I mean by that is this: I do interview content, and I found that a lot of clips of interview content are just the two people talking. And I'm like, what if we do a segment that we film in the long form and then clip it so it looks good in short form? And that segment that we came up with is called Draw Your Income. And Draw Your Income is essentially I wheel out a pie chart in the middle of our interview, and I ask creators to draw how much money they've made on a pie chart. So they say, I made 45% from brand deals, I made 10% from AdSense, I made 2% from affiliate, and they just literally like a kindergarten draws on this like pie chart on this dry erase board. Then we take that video and we make it into you can see this on my channel, like how blank makes millions of dollars per year, like a breakdown. And then that video is like a isolated short, right? You could tell the whole story of that pie chart in a minute And then people who see that will be more intrigued to check out the full interview because they got like almost like it's like a custom made video. Yes, yeah. Oh wow, you guys are good. Yeah, that's exactly right. I put it on Instagram as well. So if you see this, like Preston Plays makes $16 million. I think it was a year, something crazy. Like, and so I was like, dude, how do you make that money? And then a lot of people will talk about things that I didn't even know were ways of making monetization. Like he talked about servers and all that stuff. So, so yeah, so like I think about the short answer to the question of how do you bridge long form to short form is dedicated segments. The secondary answer to that, going back to the very beginning of our conversation, is it is easier if you're putting yourself on camera for people to connect. Hey, that's the person from the short form and the long form as almost like a human watermark, right? So that's the other thing I'd say. But it's really thinking about similar content segments and are you the kind of the conduit and the consistency in between.
It's funny that you brought up Preston. He's in our household all the time. My kid is
Really?
always watching him. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. There
Yeah.
you go. Of
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for that.
course.
If no one, let's see if there's any follow-up questions. I did pick up a question that I thought would be interesting.
Please.
What are
Yeah.
your tips for someone who wants to start a YouTube channel? Like any quick tips on how to start or what to focus on if someone's
Yeah.
new?
Yes. Yeah. So, and this is actually something, this is one of the big reasons that I started my newsletter, which you brought up earlier, is because I feel like a lot of people jump to video, and I'm a big proponent of video. But I think if you haven't started creating content or building even the semblance of like a online community, it's okay to start with text and photo. Like if you look at
On
my
YouTube?
I
On
would
YouTube?
on other platforms,
Mm.
and then convert what you learn and the audience you build to YouTube, and I could provide a quick step by step. So if you guys see this page, I don't know if it'll come up or if I have to do HTTPS dot created dot news. Um, I
And that's how
started
people
off.
can find your newsletter?
That's how people can find my newsletter. And the
Okay.
reason why I bring that up is let's rewind 4 or 5 years ago. So when I was first starting out and trying to build an audience, I didn't first make videos. I didn't like jump on and just like talk like this or do interviews or podcast. I started by drawing cartoons and like start putting those out on LinkedIn as well as Twitter. And those illustrations were basically like me poking fun at like corporate America and like trying to share like some of the things I learned on the inside of working like a 9 to 5 in tech that I thought people could draw value from. Those cartoons, which are different from the ones you see in the newsletter, helped me grow my following to about 40,000, 50,000 on LinkedIn,
Over
and
what period of time,
over about
may I ask?
a year and a half.
Mhm.
You know, and also while I was doing that, I was just like writing, just like not everything had an illustration, some things had a photo. Like I feel like a lot of people jump to like video is the big thing that you can use to grow as a creator, and it is. But sometimes you need to figure out like how you want to like have your voice show up. You want to figure out, are people interested in this? You want to try to build an audience so that once you've built it, then you could show them video and you have some initial traction. So after a while of just like having like text and photo based content or illustrations, I then moved to a short form video, and I then moved to like longer form video. It was a very gradual process. Whereas a lot of people, they're like, I need to make like a 10, 15-minute video. And if you do that, you're kind of slowing down your rep cycles and how quickly you'll learn. Right. Because if you even like, if you go and look at my LinkedIn, like way back in the day, one other thing I would do is every time my following would cross 10,000, I would poll my audience and ask them, okay, what do you guys want to hear me talk about? Do you want to hear me talk about career advice, marketing examples, like trying to build an online community? Like what's most interesting from the things that I have in my back pocket that could be relevant to you? And so I think if you're trying to start out and you're in the audience and you're like, I want to be a creator, I want to try to figure out what's the first step. Think about your creativity and your audience in terms of a Venn diagram. On one side of it, it's all the things you could talk about. And on the other side of it, it's all the things that they could be interested in. And you got to figure out what's in between. And sometimes one of the best ways to do that is just literally poll your audience. Pull them on Twitter, pull them on LinkedIn, wherever, pull them on Instagram stories. Like every platform has a polling feature nowadays. And if you ask people that and continue to ask it as you grow, you can get an idea of what they're most interested in. And then put text and photo based content out, start to grow, then think about short form, and then think about long form. And obviously, it's not always that linear, but I find if you jump to the end, your repetition and your learning is going to be slower.
And this is the whole reason, everybody, why John is create his whole thing is created with John
Yes, well
Youshaei,
said. Yeah, yeah,
right? You do it with
exactly.
your community and you engage with them at such a level. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. If
it's
you
it's
go like in our Discord, like we have like a channel for video roast, for thumbnail roast, like YouTube thumbnails. I share like links to videos before they're done to get feedback from folks. I share sketches of the cartoons before they go out with a lot of people. So exactly. Yeah, yeah. You said it perfectly. I like creating with, hence the name of our show and newsletter.
yeah, yeah. So awesome. Okay, next question. I think you have a bunch. If you don't,
Yes.
I can scan the
I have let's do what if we do one or two more. I want to be mindful of time, and then we could always do a I feel like this was great. We could always do a part two, like
Yes,
take
I
more
was just thinking
Yes,
questions.
that.
I was
I was
going to
just
Yeah.
say
thinking that.
we'd love to have you back. So yeah, let's do that.
Cool. Okay, let's see. I wanna end with a good one. Um um
Yes, part 2, I believe, says Monica.
okay. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Yes, part two. Okay. All right. Here, this question comes from Anub Hav. Okay. So once a video is published, what exactly are some of the marketing steps that one should do to increase the visibility of the video? Do we just leave it to the performance of a video on YouTube, or are there some external platforms that one should use? Okay. All right. So that's a good question. So like you made the video. What do you do to promote it? Right. By and large, like for like a YouTube video or for Instagram, you want to like kind of let the algorithm like do its thing. Like a lot of times these videos will go out to like a seed of your followers. Like let's say like 1%. If it's performing well with them, then the platform will like, give it to 10%. And if it's performing well with them, it could go to like 120%. It could go beyond your audience, right? So oftentimes like the marketing is in like how good the actual video is. But there's some things that you could do that allow people to get excited and have it like on the radar before that video comes out. One of my favorite things to do, kind of going back to our last our like last Q&A is, on YouTube you have like a thumbnail that shows up that people have to click. I like being able to, if you look at my Twitter, I like asking people, which of these two thumbnails do you like for the video coming
Mm.
out tomorrow? And people and I just literally say A or B, right? And people say, I like A, but change this part of it, or I like A with the title of B. And what's funny is like oftentimes that asking of a question for feedback is gets more interaction and visibility than the actual post is like, hey, the video is out. So my short answer to this question is I think the best marketing of a video is showing the process before the video comes out and getting people's feedback before the video comes out, because then they feel like and they do have their fingerprints on the actual output, because they get more invested. So yeah, you could see this again on my social media. I'm asking people like, what do you think about this before it comes out? And then people feel like, oh wow, I help with that, or that's a change that wasn't there initially. So I think like too many people just kind of create in a vacuum when creating with other people is, again, like I think it helps with making the output better, it helps with the marketing, all of the above.
Yeah, yeah. It's so true, so true.
Yeah,
Okay, I know we don't have a lot of time left. You wanted to let's see if there's any live questions. I have one question that I've been dying to ask you since our podcast
sure,
posted,
sure.
and you interview so many luminaries, right? I think people, if they don't know, you've talked to Danny Duncan, Logan Paul, Paris Hilton, Terry Crews, so many people. Um, what have you asked them that you wish someone had asked you?
Oh, that's a great question. Uh, every question I have is so specific to the person after researching them, but um,
Is there something that, you've done tons of podcasts and interviews, right? Is there something that no one's asked you that you're dying to share with the world?
Oh, I oh, I would just say, like, I feel like I could always give more credit and shine more light on how much my wife, Amanda, has done to, like, build our business, and she's my, manager, my business partner, and just, like, I feel like a lot of people here's a quote I'll end with. I don't know if many people listen to Jay-Z or know this quote he has, which is like, "I'm not a businessman, I'm a business man." You know, I don't know if folks have listened to it, but, like, I think being a creator, like, you are a business. Like, you're not just a
Mhm.
businessman or a businesswoman or a business person. So to me, it's like our channel is like John Youshaei. It's my name, but it's really like we're an entire team. We're Youshaei Studios, and my wife is a huge part of it. And I think like if you're a creative, you need an operator by your side, and behind every like behind like every like great creative who honestly like sometimes I'm like, oh, I just want to make this video as good as possible. Yeah, Andre said, yeah, there you go, that is a great gift. Is an operator that's like, hey, like what was the cost on this, like are we hiring properly, are we optimizing, and I say like Amanda is like my Chris Jenner, like she's helping like me think about so many things that I wouldn't have considered, and that's a necessity in building any kind of business, especially a creative one, where you could make so many revisions on the same asset and the same video. But at the end of the day, you got to keep in mind how to make it sustainable. So, yeah, maybe that's a good way to end. Is yeah, I think find a great creative partner. Sorry, find a great partner that is more of an operator if you're more of the creative.
Yes, I love that. We did talk about this on the podcast, and one of my takeaways was that being a creative sometimes can be so lonely. A lot of creatives are solopreneurs, and often they need like someone to bounce ideas off of, a sounding board. But also having a trusted partner gives you greater bandwidth for creativity, right? And to experiment. And so yes, you're very blessed. You already know that. Amanda's awesome. And you're starting a new family. I mean, people should know,
Yeah.
right? You posted online that you just became parents. Oh yeah. How do you
Yeah.
manage your time now with the baby and
Uh, I was just
still creating?
I feel like you just have to, and also I think like you realize, like I'm like, oh, I thought I was really focused before. I was like, wow, I actually like there's a lot of ways that I'm like I was inefficient or I wasted time. So yeah, pro hack, like a pro tip, if you want to get more focused, I don't know, a baby will definitely do that. But yeah, I don't know, I just feel more focused and I feel like I don't know, just more purpose, because I'm like I really want us to build something great for our daughter and for our family. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So what's next for you, John? I know when we talked, we're launching the newsletter. Now that it's out, is there any secret projects, or you might just take the rest of take it slower because we're ending 2020 very
No, no,
soon.
no,
Can you
no. We're
believe?
we're 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 ending with a bang. I will tell people here, we haven't gone like super public with this. We're launching an accelerator program for creators. And specifically, like I'm really excited to, like, I know there's a lot of courses and stuff out there, but like I've taken a bunch of them. I feel like there's a lot of things that could be better. And specifically, I want to help people who are doing part-time creation and help them make
Oh,
it
the
their
side
full-time.
hustles, the
Yeah.
side hustlers.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. Yes, and if you're like a creator who's like, I'm trying to figure out how to like level up my business, like this accelerator will help with that. But it's really I'm just like all the things, like how do you become more confident on camera? Like a lot of the stuff we talked about is like we'll go even deeper on it. Like how do you set up a home studio? Like how to like be frictionless so you could like record and not have to like set up every time. Like how can you negotiate brand deals? Even like
Wow.
I want to give, like, we're working on specific tools like for folks, so like you'll get like templates and guides, like it's really going to be, I hope it'll be one of the best in class when it comes to creator education. And yeah, we'll be going, we'll be launching, so if you guys are interested in that, like if you join my
People are
email
already saying in the chat, I wish I got this. Yeah. Oh,
list.
well, they were like, I
uh
wish I got to this session sooner because there's so many goodness, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
when is
so
this
there'll be
launching,
more.
or where can people find out about it?
We'll be launching it Thanksgiving week, like in terms of like the
Oh,
wait list, and then I want to make sure I go through all the applications and stuff, and and then we'll be launching early January. So it's an
Oh, so
actual
you have to
course.
apply.
Yeah, it'll be an application, but that's more so I want people to be in the right position to, um, like show that they've done work on their own and to be able to pay. And then I also want to make sure there's a good mix, and we'll end up like I think I want to make it accessible to as many amount of people, but yeah, Thanksgiving and then January is when we'll start, and it's an active cohort, so I'm involved very heavily. And then once a month, like we'll have sessions that I could review people's work, and we have like a very extensive curriculum. Like I've been working on this for over
Oh,
like
wow.
over a year now, and really like experience of close to a decade. That I'm just excited because I know there's a lot of like courses and education out there, but I don't know. I think we could
Not
do it
from
different.
someone like you, though, because you're an expert and you worked at these
Right,
platforms, right? So you
right,
you understand and you're a creator yourself. So
right.
I'm super excited. How can I sign up?
Yeah, I
You
Yeah,
know,
know,
folks.
everybody's like,
Yeah, folks in the
yeah.
can I
audience are
sign
like, I
up?
can't wait for that link.
If you guys are in the audience, maybe we drop both of these links. If you join my Discord, which is where we got a lot of questions for this, and if you oh, there it is. Thank you, Gus.
Yep.
Oh,
Thank you,
and if you
Gus.
sign up for the newsletter, oh, we just got a super long message from and then if you join the newsletter, actually this week for the newsletter, I'm gonna be giving away what I call like the thumbnail Hall of Fame, which is like basically like some of my best thumbnails that I've seen across YouTube. So you guys have like a good guidebook. So yeah, if you look at the Discord, and if you join the email newsletter, which is created.news, I'll drop that here. Those are the best two ways to keep in touch and know when the accelerator is coming. Oh, thank you guys. You beat me to it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Gus is like on it.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah,
guys.
thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
Gus.
Cool. I gotta run and do baby duty and walk the
Oh,
dog and get to work. But it's such a pleasure always. And I'm glad this is like it feels like the continuation of awesome conversation that we had on our
thank
podcast,
you
which I
so
encourage people to check out as
Yeah.
well.
Thanks so
yes,
much for
thank you
being
so
here.
much.
Of course.
Yeah. I
I'll see
can't
you
wait
guys
for
and looking
part
forward to keeping in
two.
touch. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Bye-bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone in the audience. As John heads out, I'm just going to take his advice and say if there are any other hangouts that you'd like to see in this server, let me know. Feel free to DM me or just post in chat. Our mods are looking. I know this was a different kind of event than we've been having, and maybe it gave you some ideas about other things you want to see. So let us
Yeah.
know. We want to give you some good stuff. And
Yeah.
thank you for
I'll
being
just
here
also
today.
say, I'd love to also say that John and I do talk about Firefly and AI during the episode. So maybe next time, part two, we can talk more about Firefly and AI, but he's currently using it via Photoshop, the Gen Fill, and would love to have a second conversation a little more on that too. But thank you,
Cool.
Erin, for
Yeah.
helping us out and hosting. Thanks everyone for joining us. I can't wait till next time.
Yeah, thanks. We'll talk about getting John back on here. Thanks everyone. Bye.